Welcome back to another episode of Grow the Earth. Today we actually have a little bit of a mess up, I should say. Usually I trust a weatherman about as far as I can throw him, and they had said that we were not going to get down to freezing. But as I'm going to show you, we had a frost, and a lot of things took a hard hit. We have quite a few things in the garden that we had outside of our seasonal times. Hoping that they would grow in these times, because our weather here, we go from summer to spring to fall to back to fall to winter to spring and so forth. Our fall time of year is kind of odd, and a lot of times, as long as we don't get a freeze, certain things still last. But what we're gonna start with is we had tomato plants going, and as you can see, they took quite a hard hit. You see all the dead leaves and so forth, where frost laid on them for quite a long time. And we had a bunch of beautiful tomatoes, as you can see here. But what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to come in and trim these and see if we can save some. Hopefully we'll get some growth back. We won't have another frost, another freeze like this. And we're going to trim off pretty much any leaf like this. On this one here, as you can see, we got a little bit of green that still survived. So we'll come back and we'll nip off the things that are actually physically dying, and just put those away. And if we look over here, you can see that we still actually have some tomatoes that are ripening. And as you can see here, we still have some that are fruiting, they're still ripening. But again, as you can see, we've got some that were damaged. They're actually falling off the vine. Now we can ripen these by putting them in a bag, a paper bag, but unfortunately they're not going to probably taste very good. So, we've got a lot of cleanup here. We've got a lot of things that we've got to do to bring the to bring these hopefully bring these back. Unfortunately with this, with what happened to our tomatoes here, we may have lost our crop of tomatoes. This was an experiment. We were planting a fall crop of tomatoes to see if the weather would hold off long enough for us to get a harvest before it froze and killed the plants. So we knew that this was a possibility. So we're not quite, we're not upset about it. We knew that this was a possibility. We knew that we may not get if we had a freak frost about, this time of year, that we would have the situation we're looking at right now. This is something that I touched on in the first video, is because you have something like this happen, you don't count it as a failure, you count it as a learning experience. If you're afraid to kill a plant, then you're not going to grow things, because there are certain things that we do that may be outside of the norm, especially here in Texas, just because of the temperature and the climate we have. So, if you're watching this and you're up north, you're going to think that I'm crazy for having tomato plants growing in the middle of November into December. But, for Texas, this isn't quite unheard of. It may be a little unorthodox, but we have certain years to where we don't even get a freeze. It just so happened that at the end of November that we had a frost that sat on the plants for a long time, and it damaged them quite extensively. Okay, so we're also going to show you our bell pepper plants. As you can see, if you look down the aisle here, there's a lot of damage, right? The frost actually sat on these leaves and has damaged them. And if you come in close here, it's actually damaged the fruit. You know, these vegetables, the bell peppers here are actually damaged. They're really soft. They're not crisp. As you can see, the yellow and the brown spots, just like on this, you have this perfectly green look. And this is the side that was toward the plant, but on this side we have the yellow and the splotchiness, which is evidence of freezing. The frost actually sat on there long enough that it got into the cells of the fruit and actually destroyed it a little bit. So these plants here are actually from the previous year. We planted these summer of 2019. We didn't have a hard frost or hard freeze last year, and these plants are actually from last year. The way they look now, they'll probably be pulled out along with the rest of the pepper plants this year, because I think they're just a little too far damaged to recover to be, profitable next year. So again, we have a lot of cleanup here. And as you can see here, the green beans, they took a really, really bad hit. Of course, they're more of a softer leaved plant, and the frost really, really took a toll on these guys. These guys are dead. These guys are done for the year. We're going to pull these out and possibly use this space for something else. We might even let this just kind of go until the summertime, because we have a lot of our fall and our winter plantings are already in. So there's no need for us to try and repurpose the space, because we're so late into the fall and the winter so far. So these guys are just going to get pulled out, and we're going to, I think that we're just going to let this space sit for right now. All right, follow me over here. All right, guys, and these are green cabbage. Now, these plants are meant for this time of year. They're a good fall, and they'll even go through winter. These are usually planted around middle of September, beginning of October. And as you can see, the frost was pretty bad, because if you see all these yellow spots right here, all this yellowing is basically frostbite. The cells of this leaf were damaged because of the frost. Now, the good thing is, the way a cabbage grows is, as you can see over here, it grows a big ball. So, since it was just frost and it wasn't actually a deep freeze that we had for a day or two, when we pull back these leaves, the inside is quite good. So this cabbage is going to be perfectly fine. We'll lose a couple of leaves off the outside, but the cabbage is going to come out just perfectly fine. We don't have to worry about that. All right, so come over here. And again, this is cauliflower, another hardy plant. Works really good in the fall through the winter. But as you can see here, we got more yellowing, we got more frostbite. That frost that we had, that we trusted our local weather people, that wasn't going to happen, well, it happened. We can tell right here. And again, these are just the leaves. These are to help with the production of energy for the plant itself. These aren't going to be, this is not going to harm the plant too much. Your broccoli actually grows out of the center down here, and since we didn't have any heads actually forming, they weren't hurt. So we'll still get a good production out of this, as long as we don't get a hard freeze this winter. All right, and we're going to come over here, and this was our experimental bed. This was our squash that we had here, and as you can see, these poor things are just done for. They were to the point where they were done for before we even got to this frost. But they are really done for now. We were actually in the process of trying to save them, by doing certain things, but that never happened. So now we are, again, we're going to pull this out. We've already got onions started at each end, so those are a good fall crop that'll continue to grow into summer. And I think that we're going to do some radishes, you know, some other nice fall crops in this bed, and continue to use this bed for some other things. So anyway, guys, I just want to encourage you to continue to garden. You know, yes, we have our setbacks. This frost set us back on a couple of things that we were kind of hoping on. We were kind of banking on the fact that we weren't going to get a frost, we weren't going to get a freeze. But, you know, things happen. We work through adversity. We continue to pray over our garden, and I encourage you to do that. Pray over your garden. You know, I don't know if we could have done anything to really save any of this had we come out here and covered things and so forth, because the things that were harmed most were things that were planted out of season. So it wasn't such a, you know, it wasn't such a shock that we lost these things. Again, like and subscribe. We're a small channel, we're just starting out, so if you can even, you know, copy the link and share it with your friends. Share it through Facebook, share it through Messenger, share it on, well, you can't share it on Instagram, but just share it around, and hopefully we can grow this channel, and you know, we can learn something, you can learn something. If you have anything that you see in this video that I may have done wrong, make a comment down below. You know, hey, let me know that you watched the video. A lot of you guys, there's a setting in your profile to allow me to see who's subscribed to my channel. By default, that is clicked on. So I can't see, I can see there's a subscriber, but I don't know who it is. And I want to get to know my subscribers. So if you can go into your profile and unclick that box, that way I can see who's subscribed to my channel. That would be greatly appreciated. As always, pray over your garden, pray over your family, and just continue to grow. And we'll see you next time.